I watched 3 families lose their dream home last spring, and it's not because they couldn't afford it, because they started planning in February for their move when they should have been planning in November. If you're thinking about making that move here to Michigan in 2026, this video could save you months of regret. Here are the 7 things you need to do before year's end. Hey, if you're new to me and new to my channel, my name is Eric Meldrum, and my team and I help families relocate here to Michigan. We don't just help you buy houses, even though yes, we will help you buy a house, but we help you find the ideal lifestyle so the house makes the most sense. And the ones who make the smoothest moves here to Michigan, well, truth is, they start planning 8 to 10 months early. Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly what that looks like. All right, so step 1, get super clear on your real why. Okay, and this is so important. Okay, last year alone, we helped a client who thought they were moving here for better schools, and turns out they were really moving to escape the constant pressure of keeping up with appearances or keeping up with the Joneses in their current city. Okay, once we really honed in on that, everything just clicked. Okay, the right neighborhoods became obvious, the budget made more sense, the timeline felt right. So before you look at single home, okay, before you look at a single home here in Michigan, ask yourself, what's really driving this move? And maybe it's some of the following. It could be great schools or a safer neighborhood. It could be actual space to get outside and have some breathing room. Or maybe it's lower cost of living and taxes. Or maybe it's just that community, okay? Maybe knowing your neighbor's name or having a community that you feel very connected to, okay? Or maybe you're just ready for something completely different altogether. You know, and most people think they're moving for more house, but when you dig deeper, you actually answer this question of why are we really moving? Like, what's the motivation behind this? It's usually about less noise, less stress, more opportunity, a different lifestyle. Getting clear on your why makes everything 100% easier in this process, okay? From picking the city, to setting your budget, to knowing when you're actually ready to make that move. All right, and step number 2, find the city based on your lifestyle, not the rankings or the houses or anything like that. Okay, look at the lifestyle of each of these cities and then hone in on that. You know, everyone's heard of Ann Arbor, Birmingham, Grand Rapids, but here's the thing, you guys. Okay, the best cities might not be for you, and they might be the ones showing on all the top 10 lists and all the cities, you know, of why they're so great, and they're just the biggest cities in Michigan, you know, for that matter. But pull up Google Maps right now. You know, I'm serious. Pull up Google Maps, open 3 cities you're considering, turn on the satellite view. Okay, do you see parks? Do you see sidewalks? Do you see downtown squares? Do you see cul-de-sacs or privacy? These are the things that might be important to you. You know, your gut reaction tells you everything, because here's what really matters. Do you want walkability or do you want acreage? Do you want to be 10 minutes from Target or surrounded by the woods? These are the questions that you should actually be asking yourself. Okay, get very clear on the lifestyle that you want. Okay, this is how we help people fall in love with Dexter instead of Ann Arbor, for example, you know, or South Lyon instead of Novi. It's not about the status or what sounds impressive from a city. You know, having a Northville or Novi address, yes, it's more prestigious and people will say, oh, it just sounds better, right? But you could be missing a complete lifestyle that you're looking for half the price in South Lyon, you know, versus Novi or Northville. So, you know, it's not about the status. It's not about what zip code you're in. It's about making sure that you have the right things aligned with your lifestyle. And that's all that matters, is the alignment with how you actually want to live. All right, and number 3 is understanding the real estate market before anyone else. Now, Michigan's a big state, and there's a lot of submarkets as we look at the state of Michigan. You're gonna find that Metro Detroit, Grand Rapids, more of the hot spots that you're gonna wanna be are gonna command a much higher price, okay? So when you start looking at really what's your lifestyle and start honing in on that, that's why it's important, is then we can start getting price specific. But I want to give you an update on what's happening in Southeast Michigan, because this is the market that we focus on and we help, you know, so many people come to. If you are looking somewhere else in the state of Michigan, we can still help. Do reach out to us. We'll get you in touch with one of our referral partners. So some things to take into account when looking at the Metro Detroit real estate market is, what is the median home price in that specific city? Okay, for example, Ann Arbor and Dexter are 2 kind of interchangeable cities. You know, Ann Arbor is the major metropolitan area. Dexter is kind of that smaller downtown area where you're going to get more of like a subdivision feel. Well, the median home price in Ann Arbor is $485,000. That's including single family homes and condos. Well, just minutes away, okay, 15 minutes away in Dexter, the median home price is $425,000. Now, again, that's for single family homes and condos. If you're looking for just single family homes in these areas, Ann Arbor is going to be $575,000 for a median home price. And then Dexter is right around $500,000 for a median single family home. Okay, great schools, okay, great quality of life. So these are the things that you want to be paying attention to is median home prices, property taxes, because these are the two things that are going to drive your mortgage payment every single month. Now, here's what else you need to know. Home prices have stabilized after a big run up in 2020. Through 2022, we saw kind of the height of, people moving, interest rates were super low, but high-end suburbs are still competitive in Metro Detroit. Okay, we still have an inventory shortage. The last thing I want to touch on in the kind of real estate update is, insurance costs and maintenance. They vary dramatically per area. So like if you're on the water or you have an older style home that needs a little bit more maintenance, these home maintenance costs can vary pretty significantly. But if you wait till spring to figure this all out, you're already behind others who started in the fall, like we're talking about right now. Getting this information now helps you build a smarter budget and avoid overpaying for the wrong house, in the wrong location. So step number 4 is talk to locals. Talk to people that actually live in these communities. Okay. And here's the difference between me and most other real estate agents. I'm not just going to show you what homes are listed on Zillow. I'm showing you where my kids go to school, where I grab coffee on Saturday mornings, which neighborhoods actually shovel sidewalks in the winter, which ones don't. When you've talked to somebody who walked the same path that you're about to walk, something shifts. You stop second guessing every decision because you start making more confident choices because you have a guide who's already been there. Okay, I've already walked this life. I already know what it's like. I've lived here my whole entire life. You 100% do not need a salesperson, and I'm never going to try to sell you anything. You need someone who actually knows what it feels like to live in these places. All right, and step number 5 is set your timeline now and beat the spring rush. Okay, I'm not just saying this to get you to move. Trust me. Okay, you're gonna want to start planning. If you're not a planner and you wait till the last minute to do everything, just listen. Okay, just let me help you in this regard. Okay, if you wait until March to start looking and start narrowing down some of the communities that you're looking at, figuring out the lifestyle, figuring out the costs of each of these lifestyles in these cities and these communities, you know what you're doing. Okay. You're competing with everyone else who decided to get serious after New Year's. And if you can get a jump start on that, if you start now, you're positioning yourself as the educated, ready to move buyer that sellers actually want to work with. Here's the timeline I recommend if you want to move in 2026. Between now and through December, research the cities and the lifestyle that you think fit what you're looking for to a T. Okay, understand the market trends and the budget reality. Okay, have an open mind about the budget and get really intentional, looking at some of the homes. Okay, once you've kind of narrowed down that, and then have an initial strategy call with someone, a local like me. Okay, if you just want to hop on a quick call, 15-20 minutes to ask some questions, happy to do so. Me and my team will answer all those questions, put them down in the description below, or hey, we'll get you in touch with some of our past clients if they're living in the city that you're considering. Happy to do that. We've done that many times as well. And then from January through March, lock in your top 3 cities. Okay, finalize those top 3 cities and make sure you got those locked in. So that's going to require you to get boots on the ground if you're somebody that needs to be in the city to feel it and live the everyday life. And then April through June, you are visiting Michigan for tours. You're walking neighborhoods, you're walking downtowns. These are a little bit more in depth on the 3 cities that you selected, making sure that you understand the ins and outs of each of them. Maybe even previewing some homes if your timeline is flexible at this point. And then July through September, you are actually finalizing the purchase of your home. Okay, this is where you're going to buy and actually close on your home just in time for the new school year, which does start at the end of August here in Michigan. So as you can see, there's a lot that goes into planning, and starting 8 to 10 months prior to your move is the best option for anybody looking to make a move. And I know life happens quickly. You get job offers, things come up, and you got to move quickly. So point being is get ahead of the curve. Make sure that you're staying on top of all these things as your move comes up. All right, in step 6, which I mentioned just a little bit ago, but I'm going to break it out into its own step because I think it's that important that you get clarity on this, which is talk to a lender early. Okay, even if you're not ready. Okay, there's some things that can come up in the process. Like I said before, that you may not know, or maybe you've done it once, but it was 20 years ago, and you're really not familiar with the new loan products or what the interest rates are and how that equates into the property taxes plus your mortgage and the payment. But here's the secret most people miss. Okay, lenders don't just approve you for a loan. Okay, the lender, the good one, like the ones that we will introduce you to, they help you understand your true buying power. Okay, before you're emotionally attached to a property. Okay, can you imagine going out and finding, your dream home, and then you get the reality check? It's like a gut punch. You're like, oh, that mortgage payment's a little bit more than we thought. Okay, they're going to help you understand the real closing costs. Okay, what you actually need, not just the purchase price, what the closing costs are. They're going to help you understand what the estimated property taxes are. And when the right home finally hits the market, you're ready. You're ready to move fast with confidence instead of scrambling to figure out if you can even afford that house. All right, and step number 7, which is my favorite, build your vision for your life here in Michigan, not just for your house. Okay, and I want to let you in on a little secret. My wife and I are planning to move in 2026.
Yeah, she went to church. Oh, DD, oh, what it is? Oh, DD, what it is?
Okay, I haven't told anybody this yet. You guys are the first to know. Our family doesn't even know. They probably won't watch this video, but you guys are the first to know. We're moving in 2026, and we are on this step right now. Okay, we are having conversations about how we envision our life. Right? What is the next step for us? Right? There's a lot of things we love about, our current house, our current neighborhood, and we're going through and making a list of what would our life look like, or what do we want it to look like in the next community or next neighborhood that we're in. Okay? And we're making those lists and having those conversations, but this is a very, very important step. And this one's personal, for a lot of people. I remember when we moved back to Michigan, we did something very similar. We moved back to Michigan, we sat at our kitchen table and wrote down, what do we want our life to look like? We grew up in Flint and St. Clair Shores. We went out to college and then made a life for ourselves, moved out to California, and now we're moving back to restart, the next chapter of our life. And we mapped out what our house kind of looked like, what our life felt like. We kind of envisioned for the neighborhood of the kids riding their bikes around, or, things that we did as kids. And when you know what you're building towards, the path gets a whole lot clearer. All right, so here's what I want to do right now. Step 1, if you're not subscribed to the channel, come on, you guys. What are you doing? I'll give you a second. Go subscribe to the channel, tap that little bell so you're the first to learn every time I come out with a new video, which is every single week. We got more videos coming about small towns here in Michigan, the big towns, what there's to do, the pros and cons of living in all these cities. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then step 2, if you guys are serious about making this move in 2026, book a Zoom call with me and my team. Links down below in the description. No pressure, no sales pitch. Okay, we're focused on helping you find the ideal lifestyle right here in Michigan. So that's a clarity call, right? It's a strategy and clarity call to get started. All right, so stay tuned. We got more videos about all things living here in Michigan right here on the channel for you. So you can go check those out or check out any of the playlists, and I will see you on the next one.